What is going on, guys? ESG here, back with a new FPL video. In today's video, I'm going to be going through my Game Week 3 review and looking ahead to Game Week 4 to look at my transfer plans and whether or not I am going to Wildcard for Game Week 4. As always, if you do enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new. And with that being said, let's get into it. So to start off with, let's take a look at the points that I did get for Game Week 3, and it was looking very bad on Saturday night, and then Sunday came along and Salah came in clutch once again. So overall, we got 73 points for this game week, which, in my opinion, isn't the worst. It could have been better, and I know people did get better. But with the team that I do have, I'm more than happy with that. 223 points overall. The rank has gone down to 1,220,000, but it's not a massive drop. I think it's mainly a point or two off being in the top million again, so I'm not overly bothered with where I am at the minute. I think for the first 3 game weeks, I was aiming for top 2 million anyway, and that's around about where I am, so I'm more than happy with that. If we look at the points breakdown, starting off with Henderson, a 4-pointer from Henderson this week. Now, I did say in my previous video that I didn't think Henderson would keep a clean sheet this week, and I was completely right about that. But what's changed there is he made some really crucial saves, and getting a 4-pointer from him, I think other than Alisson, who kept a clean sheet and got the clean sheet points, I think Henderson was the joint top points scoring goalkeeper other than Alisson. So Henderson's in the top 2, so I'm more than happy with that return from Henderson this week. And I'm not going to say that I'm happy to keep him, and if I am wildcarding, then I might look at getting rid of Henderson. But with Leicester at home next week, I feel like that could potentially be a clean sheet. Palace didn't look the worst defensively. Yes, they looked shaky, but they didn't look the worst. And with them signing some new defenders who weren't quite ready for the Chelsea game, but with having a 2-week break now, they'll probably be ready for that Leicester game. I could potentially see a clean sheet there, so I might be tempted to stick with Henderson, even if I do wildcard, just because of a couple of fixtures that Palace do have coming up. Moving down to the defence, and I must say it is quite disappointing with the returns that I did get in defence. Starting off with Gabriel, and it was only a 2-pointer. Now, if nobody watched the Arsenal game, the big game changer in that game was Declan Rice getting sent off in around the 60th minute. Was it a red card? Some would argue yes, some would argue no. But in the lore of the game, it was a second yellow and a sending off. So what happened was Rice had already been booked in the first half. And in the second half, Brighton got a free kick. And Rice did what every other player does and moved the ball away a little bit. The referee saw that as a bookable offence, gave him a second booking and sent him off. Now, in other games, that would be let slide, but in this game, he did get sent off, and that was a big game changer. Shortly after that, Brighton got a goal, it was 1-1, and up until that point, Arsenal looked like the stronger team, and it looked like they were going to run away with it, but that sending off changed the game completely, and had that not happened, I could have seen a clean sheet for Arsenal, and so it was unlucky to not get a clean sheet from Gabriel, but in the lore of the game, it was a red card, so I can't really complain much. 2-pointer from Gabriel, yeah, not the best. However, was it expected? Most probably, with how Brighton have been playing. Moving on to Robinson next, and yet again, Fulham defensively looked awful, but Robinson got an attacking return yet again. He got an assist for the Traore goal. So I'm, again, more than happy with that. If he's not going to keep a clean sheet, I want him to at least get down that left-hand side and get an assist for me. And that's what he did this week. And for the first 3 game weeks, he's been great to have in my team. I might look at transferring him out if I wildcard. And it is a big if at the minute. I'm not 100% sure what I am going to do for game week 4. And I will touch on that towards the end of the video. But if I am going to wildcard, I can't see myself sticking with Robinson just because the fixtures that they do have coming up after next week are really tough, and I don't feel comfortable with a Fulham defender with how bad they have been. But the 4-pointer there, more than happy with that for this week. And then Trent, I feel like Trent is that defender who is just set and forget at the minute. Every week so far, he's got a return, and yes, it's been a clean sheet, but his attacking potential is there. He scored a goal against Manchester United in the first half, and it did get ruled out, rightly so, for offside, but it was very unlucky. Salah was only just offside. He was just ahead of the ball, and it sort of deflected off him to go to Trent, so it was given as offside. So rightly so, it was given offside, but the attacking positions that Trent was taking up, he could have got an assist, he could have gotten 2 assists, he could have gotten a goal, he probably should have gotten a goal. So again, I'm more than happy with the fixtures coming up to keep Trent, and I'll probably keep Trent for the foreseeable future. I think even on a wild card, Trent is just that set and forget defender, like I have said, and he's proving his 7 million price point as being worth it. So more than happy with Trent's return there. Looking at my bench really quickly as well, Pedro Porro with a 1-pointer. Not the best, but he was playing more of an attacking midfielder role, and he was getting forward an awful lot against Newcastle. They lost 2-1, hence only the 1-pointer, and Porro didn't get an attacking return. But the chances were definitely there, so more than happy with that, and I am glad I benched him, because if I had started him, I wouldn't have got that 4-pointer from Robinson, so glad I benched him, and I'm glad that Porro didn't return. And I was watching the game, and when Porro was on the ball and in a good position, I was there saying, don't score, don't score. And I'm glad that he didn't, but anything could have happened. And then looking at Johnson as well, I don't think he even played for Ipswich this week, so if I am wildcarding, Johnson will be coming out of my team. His game time's just not there, and I can't see it improving anytime soon. So that's the defence. Moving on to the midfield, and again, it was quite disappointing, bar Salah. So looking at Bailey first, a 1-pointer, he came off in the 16th minute with an injury. So that was a transfer that I made in, and it didn't go to plan. So a little bit unlucky there with the fixture that they did have, but not much can be helped if he does get an injury, so there's not really much to talk on. Looking at Jota next, a 3-pointer. Jota didn't look great, I'm not going to lie. He didn't really get in many positions to score a goal, but he was dictating the play quite a lot. For Liverpool's first goal, I've seen snippets of Jota sort of pointing to Diaz of where to go, and then Jota made the run to the front post and drew away 2 defenders, leaving Diaz open at the back. So Jota's there for that, but his goal scoring threat hasn't been in there in the last 2 games, so it might be time to steer away from Jota and look elsewhere for Liverpool assets. Looking at Smith Rowe next, again, only a 2-pointer. He came off in the 65th, 70th minute again. Could Smith Rowe be coming out of my team? Maybe, but he is a budget enabler, and he could easily rotate with some other players, so I might be tempted to keep Smith Rowe, even on a wild card, just to enable my budget elsewhere on the pitch. Looking at Saka next, again, in that Arsenal game, Arsenal looked the dominant team until that red card, and Saka was getting into some really nice positions. He got a nice assist for the goal that Arsenal scored, and even after the red card, Saka had some really good chances. There was a chance where he was almost one-on-one with the keeper. I think there might have been a defender there, and he was sort of stretching for the ball a little bit, so he didn't quite manage to tuck it away into the net. But that could have been a game changer right there. But I do feel like with some of the fixtures that Arsenal have coming up, they are looking very tough. They've got Spurs away and Man City away, and it's only game week 6 when the games get nicer. So it might be time. It might actually be time to wildcard to move elsewhere and bring Saka in at a later date when the fixtures get better again. And then looking at Salah, I think Salah saw what Haaland did on Saturday night and thought, I need to try and keep up with that, and he did. Haaland scored a hat-trick, got 17 points. Salah got 2 assists and a goal, got 17 points. So yet again, Salah and Haaland are both level on points, and I love to see it. Is it worth having both in your team? I think those who went for both are currently way ahead of others. So I think a lot of people this week are looking to try and work both into the team. Even with City's fixtures coming up looking a little difficult, Haaland's just looking different this season. So I do think that a lot are going to be trying to get both into the team, and with that, them two are just going to score you majority of the points in your team anyway, so I don't think you can go wrong with that. But I was more than happy with Salah's return. Salah could have got another goal shortly after the one that he scored, and even it could have been 4, 5, or 6-0 in that game, to be completely honest. Yes, Man United had chances, so it could have been like maybe 5-2, 5-3, but Liverpool 100% could have scored more. Szoboszlai missed one, Salah missed another one, other players missed some as well, so again, really happy with Salah's return, getting 2 assists and a goal. Could have been more, but not quite. Then moving on to the forward two, Muniz once again very disappointed in his return, and I think it might be time to part ways with him. It's just he was getting into some really good attacking positions, and he's just not returning at all. And I feel like I've given him 3 games up to now, and he's not returned. And next week they have West Ham, who, yes, they looked bad against Man City defensively, but against, I don't want to say against a team like Fulham, but Man City are a different breed to other teams. And I feel like West Ham against Fulham, I can't really see Muniz getting any returns in that game either, if I'm being honest. So it might be time to part ways with Muniz. And then Alexander Isak, finally paying off in with the return, and I'm so glad that I kept him. If anybody watched my deadline stream, I was very close to clicking confirm onto an Isak to Watkins transfer and bringing Watkins in because of the 0.5 that I had remaining in my budget. And I'm glad that I didn't, because Watkins only got an assist, Isak got the goal. So I'm very happy that I restrained from making that transfer. And I'm glad that Isak managed to finally get a return. And although, yet again, he didn't look too involved in the game, a couple of fixtures coming up for Newcastle are looking decent. But again, if I am wildcarding, I might look to move away from Isak. But that's the overall review of the points that I got for Game Week 3. Now let's take a look at what my team is currently looking like for Game Week 4, and then we'll look at the transfers that I am looking at making. So looking at the team for Game Week 4, and the team isn't looking the best if I'm being completely honest. Now, 100% there's 4 or 5 players in there that have a really nice fixture, but overall, it's not looking pretty. Henderson in net against Leicester, like I've just said, I can see him keeping a clean sheet, so I'm more than happy with that. And a few fixtures after that, they've got nice ones as well. I think they've got Man United, which will be tougher than Everton, so no worries there really from Henderson. From a defensive perspective, though, this is where it gets bad. Trent against Forest, more than happy to have. I can see a clean sheet and an attack and return. And like I said, Trent is that set and forget defender. He's going nowhere at the minute. Robinson against West Ham. Can I see a clean sheet from Fulham? No. Can I see an attack and return from Robinson? Potentially yes, but I'm not 100% sure, so not too happy with Robinson there. Gabriel against Tottenham. Can't see a clean sheet, can't see an attack and return from Gabriel, especially with no Rice in midfield for them. So, yeah, not the happiest with Gabriel. Pedro Porro against Arsenal. Again, not happy with that. I feel like that would be another blank. And then Johnson against Brighton. Johnson's not playing, so it would be another blank. So, from my defensive perspective, I can only really see returns from Trent Alexander-Arnold and Henderson. So, it might be time to make some changes though, hence why wildcard is an option for this week. Moving down to the midfield, and again, I can only probably see 1 or 2 returns here. Salah against Forest, I can see returns, 100%. It's the 3 o'clock game on the Saturday. No real concerns there. I can see Salah getting probably a goal and an assist, maybe 2 goals. No concerns there. Saka against Tottenham, depending how Tottenham play defensively, would basically decide that. Could Saka get an assist? Yes. Could he get a goal? Yes. Could he completely blank? There's that chance. So, with the fixtures that Arsenal have coming up, not too happy keeping Saka. Looking at Smith Rowe next, minutes risk still. However, at home against West Ham, he could get an attacking return, because although West Ham have looked good defensively, they've also looked a little bit shaky. So I could see a potential attacking return from Smith Rowe, but again, not 100% confident on that. Jota at home to Forest, if he starts, he could get a return. But with Darwin Núñez looking sharp, he's coming on in about the 70th, 75th minute each game, and I feel like Núñez will be more of a Champions League and Cup player this season. I do think Jota is keeping his place in that starting 11, but Jota's not been getting involved in the goals as much as of late. He got a goal in the first game, an assist in the second game, and he blanked this week. So it might be time to look away from Jota, but Jota isn't a change that I'm 100% going to rush into. I'm more than happy to keep Jota if it means that, mainly because of his minutes. I'm more than happy to keep him because of his minutes and hope that he gets a return. And then Bailey is currently flagged, probably won't play in game week 4, 100% a player that I'm going to have to take out this week if I'm not wildcarding. Moving on to the attackers. Muniz at home to West Ham. Like I've just mentioned, I can't really see a return from Muniz this week against West Ham, or in game week 4 against West Ham, so might be time to part ways with him. Isak away against Wolves, I can see a return there. It's just Newcastle still aren't looking great offensively, and Wolves have looked shaky defensively, but they did get the first point this week. They looked a little bit okay defensively, and with Wolves being at home, it might be a little bit different. Yes, they lost 6-2 to Chelsea at home, but I can't see that happening every week, and I could see them going a lot more defensive against Newcastle, so it could be a blank from Isak. So that's the starting 11, and Solanke's still flagged. He'll probably be back for that Arsenal game, but with some of the games that Spurs have coming up, I don't really want a Spurs attacker in there unless it's Son, and I can't really afford Son. I could do Saka to Son, but not something that I'm 100% rushing into. So that's just a quick overview of how the team is looking for game week 4. Let's quickly look at some of the transfer plans that I do have, and I will pull that up now. So these are the transfer plans that I do have for game week 4. So I've got 4 options that I could go for. So option 1 is Solanke to João Pedro and Bailey to Mitoma. That frees up funds in my team elsewhere, and then I can make a different transfer in game week 5 or game week 6, like a Jota to, let's say, Bruno Fernandes if his games get good, or Jota to Palmer if I can downgrade elsewhere. So I could do that, but I think option 1 is my favourite up to now. João Pedro in and Mitoma in for Solanke and Bailey. Option 2 is Bailey to Rodgers and Muniz to João Pedro. Aston Villa and Brighton both have the best run of fixtures coming up, so I'd like to have coverage from both teams, and I think Rodgers and Pedro is the best coverage that I could go for. Watkins hasn't looked great. He's been being subbed in the 60th minute yet again, and he didn't score. He got an assist, but that was it. So I can't see. I think Rodgers will be the better asset only because of his price range. I'm not expecting Rodgers to return every single week, but the chance is there for him to get 1 or 2 assists in a game week, and that outscores Watkins. So that's option 2. Option 3 is Saka to Palmer. Saka's games coming up are really tough. Palmer's are looking really nice. However, Chelsea are away to Bournemouth in game week 4, and I do feel like that could be a tricky game for Chelsea, only because it's away. So that option is there, but it's not something that I'm 100% rushing into. And then option 4 is a wildcard to bring Haaland in, and that is the one that I'm leaning towards more at the minute. I have messed around with a few wildcard drafts before filming this video, and there's multiple options that I can go for. One that has Haaland in, others that don't have Haaland in, but still has Salah, Palmer, Son, players like that. So if I was wildcarding, I think I would 100% want Haaland in. And even with Haaland in, you can still get a really strong team based on some of the stuff that we have seen in recent weeks. So that is an option, and that is something that I am really considering for game week 4, but I'm not 100% set yet. So that's the transfer plans. I want your thoughts in the comments of what of those 4 options would you do, or is there something that you think I'm missing there and there's a better option that I can go with? So there we have it, guys. That is my game week 3 reaction and my initial transfer plans going into game week 4. So as always, I want your thoughts in the comments. First of all, what do you think of the transfer plans that I am currently considering? And is there anything that you think that I'm 100% missing and need to do with my team? And I want to know what your transfer plans are as well. Now, there is an international break for 2 weeks, so I suggest not making any transfers just yet, mainly because some players could get injured during that international break, and that may then force you into taking a points hit, which nobody wants to be doing at this early stage of the season. But by all means, you can start considering what transfers you want to make. From a video perspective, this will probably be my last video for the 2-week break, and I will film a video ahead of the game week 4 deadline, so make sure that you keep an eye out for that. But as always, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new. And until next time, thank you for watching.